About a month ago, I started work on this. A shoot 'em up with a slight twist that I released for both Apple and Android. And while it's not as good as some people I know, I thought it'd be fun to look over how I made it. I started with basically just some shapes that move down and you shoot at. I mean, we all have to start out somewhere, right? Pretty soon I added an ammo counter and made you lose if an enemy got by. But I wasn't really liking how this felt, so I decided to change directions a bit. Instead of losing when an enemy simply got by you, I decided to make the enemy shoot at you instead. It gave the game a bit more action than just shooting at enemies that were kind of slowly crawling down. I'll probably end up adding vertical movement as well, because a player feels kind of constricted only on the x-axis. Oh, and look, I added score and hearts. Hooray! I also asked my friend if he wanted to make a background for the game, but yeah, I'm not sure that'll be in the final game. Sometime later, and I have the enemy shooting in patterns, and my first attempt at making a bullet hit impact effect looks kinda bad. Yeah. On the bright side, I figured out how to use a sprite mask, and in combination with the bullets lighting up some of the environment, I think it looks pretty gosh darn cool if I do say so myself. Once I had the basic gameplay down, it was time to get some graphics into the game. And guys, I am not the best artist, but with Photoshop's symmetry tool, it actually wasn't that bad. Once I got the ships into the game, I think it helped a lot. I also messed around with the bullet impact effect, and while I still don't think I'm the best with the Unity particle system, the noise component gave it the effect that I was kind of trying to go for. After that, it was time to give some love to my poor menu scene. At first, I went on Google and downloaded a font that I thought matched my game pretty well. And once again, I had to use Photoshop to design things visually for my game, and guys, I really am not the best artist, but if you use shapes, you can kinda get what you're going for most of the time. And I'm kinda lucky because I have editing powers, so it makes me look like I'm a lot better than I actually am. After a lot of time, this is how the game over screen ended up, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And to keep people playing your games, it's always a good idea to have some customization in your game. And for me, this meant getting very creative. This was sort of the part I was dreading most, and I was actually surprised. The more time I spent with it, the easier it came. And this really goes for everything, guys. If you're just starting your game dev journey and it seems overwhelming, which it will, just stick with it and I promise it'll get easier eventually. After spending many hours trying to create ships, I actually ended up with a fair amount. I wanted the player to unlock ships gradually, so I implemented multiple different ways to unlock the ships. If you're good enough, you can score a really high score and get all those ships that have higher score requirements, but you can also just destroy enough enemies or even play enough games to unlock some other cool ships. If you can't seem to unlock a certain ship, or maybe you're just really impatient, I also implemented a little star system. Basically, how it works is you click a locked frame to see what you need to do to unlock it. You can watch an ad to play one round with it, or you can just buy it outright if you have enough stars. And of course, if you don't have enough stars, you can unlock them in-game, but it's kind of slow, so you can always speed up the process through buying them with real money. Yeah, no, it's just a way to make money, guys. Please don't blame me, please. I need money. I am starving. At this point, I think our game's looking pretty good, so we can go ahead and build and get a test version on our phone. Exciting. Except, hooray, we got it on the phone, but what? What's going? What? Why is nothing working? What on earth is, what? To this day, I still don't know what the problem was. The game worked fine on the editor on the computer, but as soon as I got it onto the iPhone, the customization buttons just didn't seem to want to work. I eventually got it working, but I ended up having to rewrite a lot of code, and it was just a lot of frustration that I really didn't need and that really shouldn't have existed. But I guess that's what you get when you want to be a game dev. Eventually, with everything finally working, it was time to submit it for Apple and Android, and holy cow, we have ourselves a mobile game! Hooray! Woo! Yeah! Woohoo! And one last thing before we go. If this app looks familiar, that's because it is, definitely. It's pretty much just an expanded version of the Brackeys tutorial, and if you don't know who Brackeys is, I highly encourage you to go check him out. I can't imagine if you're watching my video that you don't know who he is, but just in case, go check him out. He's pretty much how I learned how to code. Love you, Brackeys. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. And tell at least 2 of your friends about this video. I'll see you next time.